cost of PC gaming has essentially gone up. It's gone up quicker than PC gamers can catch up with it. Games have gone up. The cost of PC gaming has gone up. Future console prices also will potentially go up. And it's a disturbing trend that we as gamers will have to navigate through. Okay, wow. So PC gaming has been in a really weird place in the last 6 months to a year. Between the awkward launch of the NVIDIA RTX 50 series, launching with limitations and just a price point or a price entry that priced out a lot of gamers, a lot of PC gamers, a lot of seasoned and new potential PC gamers that were looking to break forward on the platform with modern hardware. And then there was the RAM shortage. The RAM situation was crazy. We saw DDR4 16 gigabyte kits going for over $100. 32 gigabyte kit DDR5 kits going for $350+. That was the last update video we posted here on the Big Tech channel, on the Super Meta Tech channel. So it has been an awkward past few months here for us as creators on this particular channel as well. While I was active on the platform, we're running gaming content over on the gaming channel, as I just kind of took a step back and looked to see the direction that the PC gaming market was headed to, and ways that I can stay viable, or I can create viable content that's relative or relevant to, relevant to the community, seasoned gamers, new gamers, content that still matters, rather that revolved around, say, like the used market, because I did go on quite a few used PC part hunts, some documented, some undocumented. I just kind of was binge shopping, if you will, on the Facebook marketplace, just trying to find deals that had the potential to capture and tell compelling stories that still heavily revolved here, especially on this channel, about different ways you can save money and to get into PC gaming, some of the best ways you can get into PC gaming, and how to maximize your experience as a PC gamer. And even with the PC gaming market being in an awkward place right now in 2026, at least as of recording this video, there's still a lot of potential there. I still see parts on the used market. I still see graphics cards, going for a fairly decent price, although I think we kind of settled on what I, predicted a few years back, or at least especially in early 2025, that this would essentially be the new norm, especially for PC gamers. Like, we just had to get used to paying high prices for DDR4, high prices for graphics cards. We saw a trend anyway, right, where graphics card prices, like, they were slowly just trickling and going up. And it's one of the reasons why, especially being that the graphics card is one of the most highly sought after components for a gaming system, rightfully so, for serious, even the most serious of casual serious gamers. That's why it's ever more so important now, especially in 2026, that potential PC gamers will be PC gamers, those who are still looking to maximize their experience or breakthrough on the platform. It's still best practice to try to find your targeted gaming experience that starts with the type of games you play and how you wish to experience them, your resolution, whether that be 1080p or 2560 by 1440p, or hell, even 4K, as you kind of look back at the 4K gamers and see, like, where exactly have they gone, or where have they gone. I am a fan of 4K gaming. I think some games, especially like Metro Exodus especially, looked really good in 4K. I played that in 4K, played it even some here a little bit on this channel, and we benchmarked it when we talked about ray tracing quite a bit. But I think that game looked great at 4K. Cyberpunk looked great at 4K. The Witcher, Witcher 3 Wild Hunt looked great at 4K. Story-driven open world experiences typically will maximize the extra pixel density, right? Especially at that resolution. But you still need the hardware to power it, right? Like, you still need to have a capable system. And that here looks like in 2026 that if you're not starting with a budget of at least over 2K, and that's being a little conservative, but if you're not starting with a budget of at least over 2K, chances are you're not going to get, you're not targeting your targeted gaming experience. at least with your initial setup, with your initial CPU, motherboard, platform configuration, whether that be AMD or Intel's previous Core i series or their Core Ultra series now, rather that be an older generation Ryzen CPU like a 5800X or even a 3600X or a 3700X, 3800X. Really just depends on what your needs are and the type of games you play. If you're a Minecraft casual gamer, then chances are you don't need to go all in on a beefy dedicated graphics card or a discrete video card. You might want to maximize you might want to leverage your budget with targeting a faster CPU, one with higher cores and a higher clock speed with faster IPC. Might even be Intel, right? So it's all about putting your money in the right places with your budget. But that also starts with taking a look at your catalog of games or games you want to play that's coming out in the future that you know is going to be launched on PC, whether it be as a timed exclusive or day one. We love day one quite naturally. GTA 6, I'm looking at you. One of the reasons why my PS5 has a place on the desk. And while we are coming up on what's essentially deemed like the slow season with gaming, especially with the summer slump, if you will, we had 007, the upcoming 007 game that's coming out. That looks fun. Probably will play it over on the gaming channel. But after that, it kind of dries up. Even when we get a little closer to, the fall, or we get a little closer to Q3 of 2026 with GTA 6, and a few others, Fable. I'm having a brain freeze moment here. But there are a lot of good games that's launching towards the back end of 2026, some that are announced and some that aren't announced. So you might want to take this time in between to assess either your current setup, finding areas that you can improve on that won't break the budget or won't break the bank, but that would introduce the most performance. RAM prices have essentially stagnated and flatlined to, where they were essentially 6-7 months ago. Even resellers on the Facebook Marketplace, I see them selling their kits at a cost similar to, what I see in retail in your brick and mortar stores. About a month or two ago, I did notice that Micro Center started bundling DDR5 kits and DDR4 kits with some of their Intel and AMD CPU and motherboard bundles. So that was a plus positive, seeing that maybe hopefully there were some signs or indicators that the market was returning back to a healthy place, that gamers could possibly upgrade their system. And then one thing we love here in this community is that introduces a wave of secondhand hardware on the used market, that gamers who budgets are a little bit more constrained, a little more tight, can maximize someone else's used value, right? Like if they've maximized the used value, or they gotten all they can get out of, say, that RTX 3060 or that RTX 3080, and they're ready to upgrade to a 47 or 50 series graphics card, and the same thing applies for AMD, switching back and forth between generations, you as a gamer that say you've been gaming on an APU, like a CPU that has integrated graphics, and you want to add a graphics card to maximize your resolution or even quite possibly your graphics settings. So you've been gaming on 1280 by 720p low settings. Introducing a graphics card with at least 6 to 8 gigabytes of VRAM could possibly, depending on the game, could possibly bump that up to at least 1080p low settings as a starting point. And then even so, as I browse the Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, and a few other sites that you can pick up used PC hardware. It all depends on where you're based at and where you're watching this video. I still have to take into consideration that every purchase, every hardware is essentially a business decision for me as a macro. I haven't quite caught the attentions of your NVIDIAs and your AMDs and your Intels to send me hardware to test and review. And plus, I prefer to pick up hardware on the used market, as I like to be a testimony to these declarations that we make, that this path is a viable one that you could save money while still taking advantage over the lifespan or the longevity that PC components typically have, so long as they're maintained, kept dust-free, and they're and temperatures and things like heat management are well taken care of. That is hard to assess when you're buying used hardware. You kind of have to go in with buyer's trust, seller's trust, and try to shop on an e-tailer or an online site, a secondhand site. Try to shop on one of the sites that offers, buyer's protection. But even so, in terms of content here in 2026 and beyond, it's looking like graphics cards and just, simple ways that you can break through on a platform to save money, because the cost of PC gaming has essentially gone up. It's gone up quicker than PC gamers can catch up with it. Games have gone up. The cost of PC gaming has gone up. Future console prices also will potentially go up. And it's a disturbing trend that we as gamers will have to navigate through. And admittedly so, I'm not proud that this is one of the longest gaps in releasing a video here on the tech channel. But, things get a little difficult here in the winter time, being that where the tech set is, it's cold, and, it gets cold down here. And so you can literally sometimes see my breath. So it's hard to work in this area. So that kind of dries up the content over the winter time. And the fact that buying hardware can be expensive, and it even got expensive for me. But regardless of that fact, we're here. I want to continue to create content here in 2026 that may very much well look different, or it could look different. I still am a firm believer of telling stories around the components and the different hardware we find on the used market, and even some of the new stuff that comes out. Although I'm less attracted to the new stuff and more attractive to the older gen stuff, simply because I believe that they still hold value. We've mentioned this numerous times here on the channel, that old doesn't necessarily mean obsolete. And a lot of older generation graphics cards and CPUs still holds tons of value for gamers that are looking to, once again, break onto the platform, jump over the fence. So we have a lot to talk about. Consoles, again, coming out, all likelihood, maybe 2027. We're not getting new consoles here in 2026, but we have new consoles coming out in 2027. We have the Steam machine to possibly review or do a build alternative to. It's looking like more along the latter versus the former. I still fancy, build when you can, DIY when you can, or link up with the system integrator to have somebody do it for you. Or you can like this random video, or like this video and subscribe if you're new to the community, because we still have a wide range of helpful content down in the catalog, down in the description box below, and just here on the channel that could very much still help you get started if you're one of those gamers that haven't, started your journey to getting into PC gaming. So not only are we getting back to overclocking, unboxing, reviewing different peripherals, not just monitors, but gaming mice and keyboards, and even quite possibly headset. Everything that revolves around PC gaming, we will be revisiting here in 2026 and the great beyond, starting with, I don't know, maybe even quite possibly, going back to this beautiful graphics card. If you know, I'm not going to tell you what it is. Just definitely be on the lookout for the review video, as we kind of take a retroactive look into previous generation hardware to see just how relevant and viable those solutions are at their price points here in 2026. But that's all I got for this one, y'all. Once again, if you haven't yet, do me a big solid and like and hype this video up for me. Consider subscribing if you're new to the Super Meta Tech verse or Super Meta Tech community. But that's all I got for this one. I do hope to catch you on the next one. So until then, be easy.